Joining me now is the chairman and CEO of LightSquared, Sanjiv Ahuja. Thank you so much, Sanjiv, for joining us. And of course, Dominic is joining in the conversation because Dom and I have been covering, and Dom particularly, what's been going on in the telecom wars, essentially. And talking about the telecom wars, AT&T and T-Mobile, as you know, there's a DOJ hearing going on later today. And, you know, LightSquared has been asked, I believe, right, or requested to testify on behalf of AT&T, I think, to talk about how there is competition in the market. And that's something that I know, LightSquared, that you would not want to do. Is that correct?
Betty, thanks for having me here. And Dom, good to see you.
Absolutely.
It's really good to be here. I think, yes, LightSquared has been asked to participate in it. It just shows we don't even have a network today and how important we already are to this country and American consumer and the industry and its significance. That says how big the demand is for the kind of service we are offering. And as you mentioned earlier, we announced 30 customers that are going to be using our service, and you will see another 20, 30, 100 customers maybe from LightSquared that will use LightSquared's network.
But will you testify, though?
We would. We just want clarity on what is really happening with the situation.
Okay. Yeah. What do you mean clarity? What kind of clarity?
This is if they are proceeding ahead, we would absolutely participate in that.
But you don't think they are?
Well, we just need more clarity on what's really happening here. And there's been some confusion in the marketplace whether they are proceeding ahead or not.
Okay.
Well, government regulation is going to be front and center here, not just because of AT&T and T-Mobile, but because this idea that all of these companies are clamoring for frequency, for the airwaves, for spectrum. One of the things that you're trying to address here. So just how heated can this spectrum war become? Just how much are people going to start paying for access to these airwaves?
Dom, the spectrum that is available in the U.S. today for commercial use, LightSquared has a very strong position in it. We have 59 megahertz of spectrum that is properly positioned in the spectrum map. As you know, there's different qualities of spectrum. Spectrum that works very well for cellular services that we all like to use. The demand that American consumer has, and at the rate the demand is increasing, not just the top two wireless providers. There is no wireless provider in this country that will have enough spectrum available to satisfy the needs of American consumer. Mm-hmm. We think LightSquared, with its 59 megahertz of terrestrial spectrum, can come in and hopefully try to fulfill part of the demand-supply gap. We cannot totally fulfill it because the demand way exceeds the supply that can exist or will exist over the next several years.
But Sanjiv, you know, this is all, it's very true, but the problem is that all this is getting mired in politics in Washington. As you know, Senator Grassley has said that he's going to block the nomination of two FC commissioners because he believes that LightSquared is getting favorable treatment by the FCC. What do you say to that?
Betty, the spectrum LightSquared is using was authorized for terrestrial use in 2003 and 2005. Under Republican administrations. It was again validated in 2010 under a Democratic administration. And the build-out requirement for our network, you know, we're supposed to cover 100 million Americans by the end of next year, mm-hmm. and 260 million consumers by the end of 2015. So this is a very long journey, and we have actually come out and we have told Senator Grassley that we will share the information that he has asked for.
So, oh really? So you will then disclose all of that information then?
Absolutely.
Okay, and has he given you a response yet?
Well, the teams are still working. His team and our teams are still working on it.
Okay. The other issue with LightSquared, of course, is that you've had a coalition of companies from FedEx to Delta Airlines to Deere who said that the network blocks the GPS signals. And I know you came out with a report, an independent report earlier this week that actually says, no, that's not the case. So have you gotten any response at all so far?
Very interestingly, these GPS industry actually supported the terrestrial use of this spectrum as far back as 2003 and 2005. And 6 of these companies that are part of the GPS industry are actually developing solutions that work with our spectrum. And we are testing the solution for a specific class of devices because all your cellular phones, your GPS system in your car, mm-hmm. they all work fine anyhow. With our spectrum today.
Now, Sanjiv, building out a network costs billions of dollars. We've seen a lot of money being exchanged right now. Any plans to raise more money from either Phil Falcone or other investors for this network build-out?
Tom, we have raised over $2.5 billion in the last 12, 14 months. That's probably more money than any private company has raised in this country, in this climate. At this stage, we don't need any more capital. But if we do, we will go out in the marketplace and raise it. We have found very, very strong investor interest at every stage of our fundraising.
Sanjiv, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Betty.
Really appreciate it. Sanjiv
Thank you.
Ahuja, the CEO of LightSquared.